This is the Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals.
Tonight from York County and Spring Grove, it's a Division I York-Adams League matchup between two 2-1 teams. The kings of York County football, the Central York Panthers, who have won 5 straight league titles, facing an upstart 2-1 Spring Grove Rocket team. It's Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. Hi, everybody. Great to see you again. I'm Phil Shaner, alongside my partner tonight, Chris Thompson. And Chris, we have two different styles. Central York, they want to spread you out. As far as Spring Grove, they want to run downhill. That leads us to our spotlight players. The Panthers have a great quarterback, without question, in their Brooklyn Nace, the junior.
Yeah, he's dynamic and explosive, can beat you with his arms and his legs. And he's been a starter since his freshman year, which is also great.
For Spring Grove, the Rockets, their running game is going to go through number 3, Carter Smith.
Yeah, hard downhill runner. He's waited his turn. He's a senior, and excited to see him play tonight.
Keys to the game tonight brought to you by Monarchy Car Care Center. Let's start with Central York.
Obviously, number 1, force turnovers. That's important in any game. Limit penalties is also extremely important.
For Spring Grove?
Contain the quarterback. Obviously, a guy who's explosive like Brooklyn, you got to contain him, and then ultimately ball control.
Central York Panthers haven't lost a game in a York-Adams League team since 2018. Can they keep the streak alive? The Rockets, they want to be the team to end the streak. It's the Panthers and the Rockets. York-Adams League Division I football in the spotlight tonight on Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. The kickoff from Spring Grove is coming up next on MyTV Central PA. Week 4 from Papermaker Stadium on Spring Grove School District campus. Beautiful sight for a football game with great weather for Central York and Spring Grove. Two teams 2-1. As far as the York-Adams League Division I is concerned, Dallastown leads the league 3-0. They're at Southwestern tonight. Then Central York and Spring Grove and Southwestern are all 2-1. With Red Line 1-2, York High 0-3, and Northeastern 0-3 in the York-Adams League Division I. The streak for the Panthers is 32 consecutive division wins for Central York. You'd have to go all the way back to 2018 when they lost to York High to finish the season that year. So 32 consecutive division wins for this Central York team. Pretty remarkable for sure. The band has us set and ready to go. Chris, you're ready for week 4 of football. We're going to see a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be should be a great matchup. A lot of skill, A lot of talent on both sides.
Let's take a look at the coach for Spring Grove. That is Tommy Trone Jr., of course, a '93 grad of Spring Grove. You might know his father, who served as Spring Grove's head coach from the mid-'70s until 1990. It's his second season. He was a longtime defensive coordinator at Southwestern, and this is his second year. Last season, so far in 2 seasons, he's 5-8. Last year they finished just with 3 wins, but they were extremely young a year ago. And there is a very talented kicker on your screen. Matthew Parker, the Penn State preferred walk-on, will get us started here with the Good Feet Store Kickoff to get us underway. Week 4 of Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. And we are underway, and most of Parker's kicks are touchbacks. So Spring Grove will have the football at the 20-yard line to start this game. And we'll take a look at their starters, brought to you by Focal Point Remodeling starting lineups. This is an offense that has done pretty well. 96 points. They had a big win last week and put up a lot of numbers. Davis Baum is their quarterback, the junior's first year at quarterback. Carter Smith's the feature back, and they have 3 of 5 returning on that offensive line. The offensive line is huge. A lot of special talent. The wideouts with Smith, Allen, Eisenhart, and Lawrence as well. And there is your starters, brought to you by Focal Point Remodeling. 1st and 10 for Spring Grove. Right up the middle they go to Carter Smith, and he picks up 5 yards and a first down carry. A 2nd and 5 coming up. Morgan made the stop. Here's the look at the defense for Central York, brought to you by Focal Point Remodeling. And this defense is glad to have Michael Bowers back. He was out sick, the linebacker, but they have 3 guys back on the line of scrimmage, and the secondary is all back as well. And some people say that Central Dauphin Rams coaches said it's one of the fastest defenses they've seen in a number of years. They swarm to the football, and they're very aggressive. So there's your starting lineups for both the offense and defense, brought to you by Focal Point Remodeling. Spring Grove 2-1. They opened the season here at home with a 31-14 win over Northern York, and then lost to Cedar Crest the following week 45-7. And last week a big win over KD 57-0. Davis from the gun will hand it off. Downhill goes Smith. This time nowhere to go. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. A sea of white there for Central York to make the stop, and a 3rd down coming up after the Carter Smith run.
You know, you talked about Central York's aggressive defense, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're coming out and loading the box up and basically playing, you know, cover 1 man free in the secondary and basically daring them to throw the football.
The defense has been pretty good. Central York, they opened the season with a shutout 47-0 over Central Dauphin, then lost to Manheim Township in week 2 28-10, and last week a 31-20 win at Delaware Valley. 3rd and 5 now for the Rockets. Davis with his first opportunity to throw the football, and throws it over the head of his intended target, and it is intercepted by Morgan. Morgan races down the sidelines, and he's in for the score. The pick 6 for Dwayne Morgan, the junior, who takes the tip pass and takes it to the end zone for the Faulkner Honda touchdown.
You know, we talked about turnovers in the pregame, and there you go. 3rd play of the game, there's already a big pick 6 by Morgan. This is a heck of a job, you know, keeping his eye on the ball. You know, anytime you get a tip ball like that, you know, big things can happen for the defense, and that's a great job.
Dwayne Morgan takes the tip ball to the house for the touchdown. And that is the 5th interception this year by the Spring Grove quarterback. The extra point is up and is good by Matthew Parker. So Central York strikes first. They do it on the defensive side of the ball, and they lead it 7-0. Central York has a 7-0 lead after the Morgan 36-yard interception return for a score. And we have another good feet store kickoff. Only a couple minutes into this Week 4 matchup between these two 2-1 teams. You know where this ball's going. Matthew Parker's going to put it into the end zone. He's all about touchbacks. Mostly all of his kickoffs this year have been touchbacks. And here's the good feet store kick. Coach Janchak believes that if he stays healthy, he will have a shot to play in the NFL. So let's take a look at our injury report tonight. Brought to you by OSS Health, high-quality orthopedic care. For Central York, Cameron Deal, running back and linebacker, last week broke his thumb in the win over Delaware Valley. They're going to miss him on both offense and defense. There's a look at him with his thumb all wrapped up. Last week in the Delaware Valley win, he broke his thumb. That is our OSS injury report. So let's see what Spring Grove can do with their second opportunity here on offense. They hand the ball to Smith. Smith downhill. Good tough run for Smith. He picks up 8 yards, and Sukanik makes the stop for the Panthers after an 8-yard pickup.
Little off tackle here, counter or power. It's a great job by getting downhill by Carter Smith.
Carter Smith comes into this game 225 yards. He had 100 yards rushing last week. And there's Coach Janchak in his 5th season. How about his record at Central York? 43-6. He's been coaching for a long, long time. The 2002 6A Coach of the Year. Got his first head coaching job at the age of 25 in New Jersey. Spent a couple of seasons at Pocono Mountain. Was also the head coach at Central Dauphin East and Lebanon before taking over at Central York. Good tough run towards the sticks. Depends on the spot if it's a first down. Hunter made the stop for a yard for Central York after the Smith run, and it is good enough for the first down, I believe. So let's take a look in case you weren't with us at the beginning, and a remarkable home buyer scoring summary. The pick 6, here it comes. The ball was tipped up, and Johnny on the spot is Dwayne Morgan. Goes 36 yards for the touchdown. Your remarkable home buyers scoring summary for Central York. That's how they have 7 on the board already. Hand off to Smith. Smith straight ahead and keeps pushing the pile across the 35-yard line. So you see Smith's strength, and the deal with Smith, tough to tackle and really gets downhill behind a line who has 3 of 5 guys returning. They were very young last year, Chris. They had a freshman, 2 sophomores. They're all a year older, but they're very big up front.
Yeah, and it showed right there because they literally pushed the pile there about 3-4 yards. And tough, hard-nosed 3-4 yards to do that.
So second down now for Spring Grove. Baum is working out of the shotgun. Hands the ball straight ahead and running tough to the 40-yard line, just a yard short of the first down. Barr made the stop, and that is Golbrecht, the runner. Golbrecht, who's also the kicker and one of the top defensive players. They said they were going to work Golbrecht more into the offense, and he got that run. And the 3rd and short coming up now here for Spring Grove. Ball resting just shy of the 40-yard line, and there's a timeout. We're going to send a player to the sideline. And the colored gloves might be the issue, and there's a timeout on the field with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. We'll stay here. First timeout of the half for Spring Grove. Coming up next week, we'll be back in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. Should be a good one next week. Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin. Cumberland Valley, the Eagles 2-1. Of course, Coach Oswald used to be the coach at Central York before leaving to go back to his home high school in Cumberland Valley. And Central Dauphin Rams, they are 1-2 on the season. They opened the season with that 47-0 loss to Central York. So we'll be in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth next week, and it'll be Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin in our Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday night rivals. So a big 3rd down and 1. I would assume the way they're running the football, the Rockets are going to go straight downhill. Yeah,
and you can also assume that Central York's going to load the box too and play man coverage on the perimeter.
Let's see how much they load the box. They did that the last week. They had 8 guys in that box against Delaware Valley when they traveled almost 4 hours for that game last week. 3rd and 1 now for the Rockets. And there's a penalty marker down. So we'll wait for the call.
It's a great job by Spring Grove. It looks like the nose guard jumped early there. Great job using the long cadence to draw them off sides. Easy first down.
So that'll give them the first down on penalty. A 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down. And I believe one of our keys for Central York in our Meineke Car Care Center keys was limit penalties.
Yeah.
And Central York has a penalty there to give Spring Grove a first down and extend their drive out to their own 45-yard line. Second man through, gets the handoff and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. So Christian Braxton gets the carry, so we've seen 3 different running backs running the football. Bowers made the stop. The linebacker, they're glad to have him back. He was out injured for a couple of games, but Bowers is back for Central York, the 5'11", 195-pound senior, number 10. There he is on your screen. So we have seen a couple of different running backs, 3 of them for the Rockets, in Gobrecht, Smith, and Braxton. So a second down from the 45. On the pass, fires into traffic and incomplete, almost intercepted. Diving for it was Gates. He almost picked it up, and the quarterback is injured. The junior, Davis Baum, is injured, has 1 interception here tonight, and he got hit in that backfield. So let's see. Let's take another look at this, Chris, and see what happened to the Spring Grove quarterback.
Oh, yeah. That's dangerous right there.
Gets rolled up on.
Looks like he hyperextended his leg a little bit on his plant foot.
They were looking for Smith, was the intended target. Smith, number 5, got his hand on it, but Gates almost came down with the second interception, number 11 for Central York. So they're working on Davis Baum, who came into this game 554 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Second year with the new offense. He was a starter last year as a defensive back. Didn't get a whole lot of varsity reps last year at quarterback, but has been doing pretty good so far this season for Spring Grove at quarterback.
Seems like he has good mechanics and throws a great ball. Good velocity on it.
Hopefully he'll be okay, going to the sidelines to get checked out. And Spring Grove will have to go to their backup quarterback at this point with the injury. So coming in now is Valenti, the backup quarterback. Valenti in, number 15, the quarterback backing up Davis Baum. So big situation for him. He comes in with a big 3rd and 10. And here comes some pressure by Central York. The handoff goes to Smith. Smith gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Smith was trying to run hard. Hunter was there, number 4, to make the stop for Central York.
Again, trying to run a little off tackle here, power. And boy, Central York is just swarming right now.
So a 4th and long now for the Rockets. Doing the punting is Holden Gobrecht. He'll punt the ball from his 34-yard line. And back for Central York. Receive the punt is Smith, one of the quickest players on Central York's team.
Oh, no.
And that snap is over his head. Gets the punt off somehow, some way. Unbelievable, and then takes a Spring Grove bounce. Wow, how did he do that? The ball was well over his head, Chris, and somehow, some way, the senior Holden Gobrecht was able to get the punt off.
This is rugby style right here at its best. I mean, how he got that off, I don't know, but what a great job by him.
Incredible. So now Central York will see their offense for the first time, and we'll meet their starting lineups in a second. Brought to you by Focal Point Remodeling Starters, as this is the first time that Coach Janczek's offense has gotten on the field. This is an offense that is averaging 288 yards of total offense a game, only 85 yards through the ground. Yes, that's different than the last couple of years when they had Jules Groff, who really ran the football for the last couple of years, is one of the top running backs in the state. He's at Pitt now. So let's take a look at these starters, your Focal Point Remodeling starting lineups for the Panthers. They're averaging 202 yards passing the football. Brooklyn Nace, of course, he was the starting point guard on the 6A state basketball championship team, and they're so big. 6'4", these are the wide receivers. 6'4", Sukanik, Gurley 6'3", Smith super quick. They have a lot of talent as far as athletes in the wide receiver and tight end position. And there's a look at Smith. He is so quick, a special talent, one of the fastest players. He leads the team with 20 catches this season, does number 13. So let's see what Nace will do. He hands it off to Legend Johnson. Johnson gets tripped up, but not before he picks up a couple of yards. Legend Johnson missed last week. He was out sick. Carter Smith made the stop for this Spring Grove defense. And let's take a look at the defense brought to you by the Focal Point Remodeling starting lineup. They have most of their defensive line and linebackers back. Their secondary, Holden Gobrecht, he's been awesome. 3 of the team's 7 interceptions were by Holden a season ago. There's the completion up to midfield. Gobrecht made the stop. As we were talking about him, Gurley made the catch. That's his 8th catch of the season, and that moves the chains. A 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down on that completion. Nace to Gurley. So Gurley gets it into Spring Grove territory at the 49-yard line with a 1st and 10. Nace looks downfield, now rolls to his left. Nace gonna run it and gets out of bounds back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Let's talk a little bit about Brooklyn Nace. Coach Janczek said that they really worked in the offseason. Quicker releases, quicker decisions, been pretty good. 7 touchdowns, no interceptions in 3 games.
Well, we talked about it. He's been a starter since his freshman year, and he's now a junior, so he's starting to come into his own here as a field general. And you're starting to see that there. He didn't force the ball and decided to just play it safe and play it smart and get out of bounds and don't force it downfield.
Nace last year passed for almost 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns. Completed 73% of his passes a year ago. 68% of his passes completed so far in 3 weeks. Going downfield, and he's looking for Smith. Smith has the catch down to the 15-yard line. You talk about staying with the quick Smith. Hard to do, and a big pickup all the way down to the 17-yard line, 16-yard line on that completion. Kane was on coverage and made the stop.
What a perfectly thrown ball. You see that when he fades the receiver out, from the bottom of the numbers to the sideline. What a great throw, and great eye coordination by the receiver.
32-yard pickup on that Nace to Smith pass play. Now a 1st and 10 in the Keystone Fireplace red zone. On the run is Johnson, and there's a penalty marker down as he is brought down at the 19-yard line, lost a couple of yards, and that is Eisenhart, Jordan Eisenhart, number 17, making the stop for the Rockets. Baumgartner in there as well. So a loss of a couple of yards, and looks like it's going to be a hold.
Usually when you see a flag thrown in that area, more times than not.
Good story with Baumgartner for Spring Grove. Was injured, couldn't play at all last year, and boy, they're glad to have him back as a senior. Couldn't play his junior year. He's doing big things on the defense and offensive side of the ball on the line of scrimmage for Spring Grove. So a hold on the Panthers, and that'll push them back. So getting back to our mighty key to the game, the penalties.
Yeah.
We have a couple here already here in the first quarter with 4:38 to go in quarter number 1. They have a 7-0 lead. If you weren't with us, it was a quick score. Wayne Morgan with an interception went 36 yards for the Central York touchdown to put them up 7-0. Another storyline, the starting quarterback for Spring Grove, Davis Baum, was injured. We'll see if he comes back out or not for Spring Grove. 1st and long, and they give it to Johnson. Johnson running, has running room, makes a man miss to the 15, and gets down all the way to the 10-yard line. Impressive run by Legend Johnson, who was out sick all of last week, couldn't play in the Delaware Valley game, but he's a special running back, the 6'1", 190-pound sophomore.
Yeah, they let off a little draw here, a little tailback draw, and great patience and vision by the running back.
Johnson, his younger brother, Allie Johnson, was another guy they wanted to play, but he hurt his shoulder in preseason camp and needs surgery. And then, as we talked about, Carmen Deal, another running back, as we had in our injury report. So the running back room, which had 4, is now down to 2 with just Legend Johnson and Jeremiah Hunter. And of course, Johnson didn't play last week. Deal got hurt in the game in the win over Delaware Valley a week ago. So the depth is not great in the Central York running back room. The officials are talking things over with 4:20 to go in this first quarter. And the Panthers are working inside the Keystone Fireplace red zone with 32 consecutive division wins in the York Adams League. Have to go all the way back to 2018, the last time they lost to a York Adams League team. They've just dominated the York Adams League. the last 5 years. Nace fires and throws it away. Incomplete.
Again, smart decision by the young quarterback to not take the sack, throw it out of bounds, but past the line of scrimmage so it's not intentional grounding. Just a really smart heads-up play there by Nace.
3rd and 3 coming up. Ball's on the 10-yard line. Coach Janczak's Central York team. Coach had his team to the state championship in 2020. And there's a timeout on the field. Central York knocking on the door for another score. They lead it 7-0. Central York knocking on the door. Beautiful night in Spring Grove. Week number 4. Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday night rivals. Phil Shaner alongside Chris Thompson tonight. Central York with a 7-0 lead. The defense scored. Now the offense wants to get on the board. And I believe that Brooklyn Nace might have drawn Spring Grove offsides. No, they jumped.
I don't know. Maybe the slot receiver was moving early too. I'm not sure. Yep, it is on defense.
They got Spring Grove.
Yep.
Take a look at the slot receiver, Chris. Tell me what you saw there.
Yeah, oof, boy. I don't know. That might be a.
Did he move right when he saw Spring Grove come across? I don't know. That was tough.
The thing about it is he didn't cross the line of scrimmage. He was still moving laterally. So
here's Legend Johnson fighting his way towards the goal line and is shy of the goal line. Gets down to about the 1-yard line, just shy of the goal line. Johnson, who did not play last week, was out of school most of the week, sick, missed the Delaware Valley trip, the 3.5-hour bus ride, and glad to be back because he's been pretty good the first 2 weeks of the season for Central York, taking over for Jules Goff. Running in for the score is Brooklyn Nace, using his legs to get in for the touchdown. And that is your Faulkner Honda touchdown. The junior quarterback takes it himself, 1-yard touchdown run. Take another look.
Yeah, great play, a little zone read action. He pulls the ball and tucks it, and boy, he can get downhill pretty quick, and he's got some shiftiness to him as well.
So Brooklyn Nace, the 1-yard touchdown. Matthew Parker, perfect with extra points this season, kicks it up and kicks it through. And it's a 14-0 lead for Central York. Coming up tomorrow, college football on CBS. Can Notre Dame bounce back? They're at Purdue. Shocking 16-14 loss last week to Northern Illinois. What can they do tomorrow on CBS 21 at 3:30? And then tomorrow night, Colorado and Colorado State. A wild game these two teams played last year. It went to double overtime. Coach Prime got the win 43-35. Will the Buffaloes do it again tomorrow? And then on Sunday, the NFL on CBS starts at noon with a doubleheader with the NFL today. Then 1 o'clock, Raiders and Ravens. Will the Raiders go 0-2 to the Harborough brothers? I don't know. They lost to Jim. Let's see if they can win on Sunday. And then at 4:25, Steelers and Broncos. It will be the return of Russell Wilson in Denver, but it looks like Justin Fields is expected to start. Russell's still dealing with a calf muscle. The Steelers, with their defense, got the win, and the Broncos lost in Week 1, 26-20. So there is your college and NFL action on CBS 21 this weekend. Good feet store kickoff by Parker, and you know where it's going. Another touchback. Scoring summary for Central York. They got it done. Here, the remarkable homebuyers scoring summary. 9-play, 61-yard drive ended with Brooklyn Nace, the quarterback, 1-yard touchdown. 2:09 off the clock, 9 plays, 61 yards. It's 14-0 Central York with the lead. Central York's been excellent last year, 11-1. They lost to Harrisburg in the state semis, or in the districts, 28-21.
Yep.
Quarterback is back, which is good to see after being injured, and Davis Baum is back for Spring Grove, and he's going to keep it himself, so we'll know if he's feeling better as he keeps it in tackle for a loss by the big nose tackle. Ramnath made the stop for Central York on this keeper.
Again, a little high snap causes a problem there, and the quarterback does the right thing and just tuck it and gets what he can.
So last year, Central York, they beat Central Dauphin in the opening round of districts, then in the district semis last year in District 3, lost to Harrisburg. The year before that, they were 10-2. In 2021, they were 10-1. And of course, in 2020 is the year they went to the state championship game. Big completion. What a grab by Smith. He had to come up and come down with it for his 5th catch of the season for Smith. And that's good enough for a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down with the Smith catch.
It's a heck of a play, heck of a throw. Great protection for the quarterback. And just an absolute high point by Smith, the receiver, there for a great catch.
So a 1st and 10, ball up to the 35-yard line. There's a look at Smith. There's 5 catches now in the season. Last year he had 12 catches for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns a season ago for this very young Spring Grove team a year ago. Handoff up the middle, just a couple of yards there on that carry by Holden Gobrek. Gets his 2nd carry of the night, and Gurley made the stop for the Panthers. So Gobrek mostly played defense the first couple of weeks, but the coaching staff talked about getting Holden more involved in the offensive game plan.
Central York is making it tough right now because they're loading the box here with 5 down linemen and 2 backers and playing cover 1 over top. I expect Spring Grove to maybe chuck it again here.
2nd down and a long 8 for Spring Grove. Davis. Blum out of the gun, fires, goes downfield, looking to go downfield to Smith, but overthrew him. Not much of a chance there as he went downfield. Gates was on coverage on Smith, was the intended target. There's number 5. So now these are the down and distance you don't want to get into, especially with an aggressive Central York defense, is that loading the box and bringing pressure and flying to the football.
Yeah, and I would imagine they're going to do the same right here.
Coach Trone doesn't want to be in these 3rd and long situations. I don't think anyone does against this Central York defense. So let's see what the Rockets can do from their 35-yard line. Here comes pressure. And the ball is intercepted. The 2nd interception of the night. Could be the 2nd pick 6 of the night. And it is. Josh Barr takes it back for the score. 2 pick 6s for this Central York defense. Josh Barr, the pick 6. Take another look at our Honda Faulkner touchdown.
This was a heck of a catch. It's not an easy catch by any stretch of the imagination. And then just gets to the outside and takes it to the end zone.
So the 2nd pick 6 for this defense. Morgan had the 1st one. Josh Barr has the 2nd, the sophomore with the pick 6. And it's 20-0. On for the extra point is Matthews. Matthews, the Penn State commit, preferred walk-on. Last year he had 59 touchbacks. Last year he was 10 of 13 in field goals. He had 2 50-yard field goals last year. Wow. And they said last week at Delaware Valley, he was in warm-ups, he was knocking him in from 60 to 62 yards. So they would love to give him a shot at the national record in high school football because they believe he has the leg for it. He is a weapon for sure. Like I said earlier, Coach Janczek believes if he stays healthy, he could be an NFL kicker one day. But they're going to go for 2. So heck with Parker's leg. will go for two, and they give it to Fry. Fry is in for the two-point conversion. That is Tyler Fry, who's playing mostly defense this year, but he's a special talent on offense when they give him opportunities. And they go for two to go up 22-0. So how about this defense?
Yeah, they're just swarming right now. It's impressive, and anytime you can create turnovers and pick sixes like this, the game can quickly get away from you.
That is for sure. Morgan with an interception, Barr with an interception, both of them pick sixes. So Parker will come on for yet another Good Feet Store kickoff. We talked about the dominance of Central York in the York Adams League, Division I. Right now, Dallastown is atop the York Adams League at 3-0. They have a big game tonight against Southwestern. Week 4, 10 York Adams League division openers tonight. So far, 3 weeks, the York Adams League teams are 35-31, which is a little better than last year. Last year at this time, York Adams League's teams were 27-29. So they're doing better as far as that is concerned. Time now for the scoring summary. Pretty simple. For the second time tonight, the defense gives them 6. It's Josh Barr with the pick 6 going the other way for 6 points for Central York. The remarkable homebuyers scoring summary, and it's 22-0. Central York with the lead with still 1:26 to go, first quarter. Tonight is a gold out here. The gold out's childhood cancer awareness here at Spring Grove. Good crowd on hand for these two 2-1 teams. 22-0. Let's see if Spring Grove can get things going. Handoff Smith. Smith across the 20 to the 22, a 2-yard pickup for Smith. Smith last year, mostly a blocker. Barr, who had the interception, had the stop on Smith. What do you think of Smith's hair? Flowing out of the helmet there, Chris. I like it.
Yeah, that's the in style now these days.
I like it. That takes some maintenance, I think, right? Takes a little bit of work to keep the hair looking like that for Carter Smith. So now a 2nd and 7 after a 3-yard pickup by Smith with the hair coming out of that helmet in that backfield. Smith gets it back right side. Smith drags the tackler, but that's it, gets a yard. He is hard to tackle. Bowers made the stop. Bowers with 3 tackles already tonight here in the first quarter after coming back from being out. They're glad to have Bowers back, who was out. A lot of sickness and injuries the first couple of weeks for Coach Janczak and the Central York Panthers.
They're just swarming right now.
20,
ball carrier.
Yeah, they do. The Central Dolphin Rams staff said it was they said they're the fastest defense they've seen in a number of years. Central Dolphin got shut out the first week of the season when they opened with Central York. Final play of the first quarter. Bomb the pass, steps up in the pocket, and he is brought down by Hunter in the backfield. That's our final play of the first quarter. It was all Central York, a couple of defensive pick 6, and Central York has a 22-0 lead over Spring Grove. Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday night rivals. Start of the second quarter. Holden Gobrek standing in his own 6-yard line to punt the football. Smith back to get it and has it at the 45. Smith on the return. Smith heading right side, far sideline, down the sidelines he goes and steps out of bounds at the 40. So a 15-yard return on Smith's return. Time for us to raise the roof, brought to you by Abel Sun Roofing and Siding. And we're doing it with the Spring Grove band tonight, raising the roof here. They're all fired up, and the cheerleaders, even the young ones. Of course, it is a gold out tonight, as I mentioned before, for childhood cancer awareness. Raising the roof, Abel Sun Roofing and Siding. Before you sign, call Abel Sun Roofing. Nace back to pass, sets up the screen, has it nicely. And on the run, making a man miss across the 30, still on his feet to the 25-yard line. That is a kitchen saver first down on the completion. Smith made the stop. Sukanik with the catch. He's a UConn commit. He'll play on the defensive side for UConn, but Sukanik was another one of those special players on the championship state basketball team. Boy, he played a great game against Parkland's Nick Koval in that title game. Was outstanding defensively. Trying to get the ball. It's a quick hitter to Ramuth, who's a Monmouth commit. So you have some Division I guys on this field for Central York. 23's a big man. Ramuth, 6'4", 235. That's a big body. He's a Monmouth commit. 6 catches, 72 yards. Their tight ends are big. Gurley, 6'3", 235. Sukanik, a wide receiver, 6'4", 200. Ramneth is 6'4", 235. Well,
you mentioned it earlier. I mean, when you got some Division I skills like that, quickly get them the ball and let them make plays.
2nd and 10 from the 24. Plenty of time for Nace. Now has to leave the pocket. It's going to use his legs and gets across the 20 down to the 19-yard line on the run by Brooklyn Nace, who has a short touchdown run tonight. Stockard forced him out of bounds.
Yeah, a little play action here, look, and just he's so twitchy and can quickly get away from any rush and makes something out of nothing, it looked like there.
Really worked hard in the offseason on his decision-making, getting the ball out quicker, seeing things well, and again, no interceptions on the season so far, and 82 passes coming into tonight's game. Hand off to Legend Johnson. Johnson, hard run across the 15 down to the 14-yard line, but there's a penalty down after the Moore stop. We'll wait for the call. Been a couple of penalties in the first quarter, and one against Central York. It's going to be a holding and another penalty against the Panthers. So they've had a couple. That was one of our keys. They want to limit penalties.
So far, they've been able to overcome those penalties, though, too, and that's also a good sign of a solid offense.
A 10-yard penalty, bring Central York back. So a 3rd and long coming up for the Panthers. Ball on the 29-yard line. For this Panther team that lost in week 2 to Manheim Township 28-10, and Coach Janczyk said that if there's a better team than Manheim Township in District 3, he wants to know who it is. He was really impressed by that team. Look at the bunch all the way top of your screen with a bunch of wide receivers up there, but it's a run for Nace. What'd you think of that formation, Chris?
Little diamond, little quads to the side, and you know it was a smart decision by the quarterback to not throw it. But yeah, you got 4 receivers there to one side, and just a smart play on 3rd and long.
Good job by Mason Baumgartner for Spring Grove to make the tackle. Here's a look at some of that wide receiver talent. So here's a field goal attempt. This should be a chip shot for Parker. 43-yarder. Parker's kick is up, and the kick is no good. Missed it from 43 yards. So Matthew Parker misses a 43-yard field goal. He doesn't miss many. He has 3 field goals already this season. unable to put that one in. Let's take a look at our Smile Cam. Now it's time for your Valley Pediatrics and Orthodontics Tooth Fairy Smile Cam. We got some pictures before the game of folks here smiling with the gold out. Valley Pediatrics and Orthodontics now accepting new pediatric patients. Always good to see the Tooth Fairy and Smile Cam. We got these shots and smiles before tonight's game. Always good to have Smile Cam. Plenty of smiles here tonight. Spring Grove happy to have the football back. Down 22-0 after the missed field goal by Parker, and Smith on the carry. Gets a couple of yards. There's a look at the quarterback, Davis Baum, who was injured. Has 2 pick sixes he's thrown tonight, so now 6 interceptions he's thrown on the season. Again, didn't play too many varsity snaps at quarterback last year, but got plenty of varsity experience. He was a starter and was on the field most of the game on the defensive side as a defensive back. Most of his reps as a quarterback last year were in JV. Had a pretty good week in week 1. He was 18 of 26 in his debut for 366 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was averaging about 20 yards a pass. They had some long bombs in that week 1 big win to open the season. Baum fires it into the Spring Grove sideline as he was being chased by Lawrence. The pass is incomplete.
Again, smart decision there to throw it out of bounds because he was getting chased by a couple of defensive linemen for Central York.
So now a 3rd down. Third and 7 coming up. Hunter was the one on that last stop for Central York. So here is Davis Baum, the quarterback from the gun. Scans the field, wants to fire, throws a rocket, and incomplete. In and out of the hands of Smith at the 36-yard line, but 2 penalty markers are down. Morgan was there on coverage. So we'll have to wait to see if Morgan is called for interference.
I don't know if it's interference. It might be targeting or...
We'll wait to see what the call is.
Yep.
So it could be a personal foul on the defense, and it is. So the penalties continue to add up for Central York. So at the end of the play, they'll give Spring Grove 15 yards and an automatic first down for them. A kitchen saver first down, and there you see it. Morgan there, who has that pick 6, threw down Smith and got called for the penalty.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was a little bit of helmet to helmet there late.
So a 1st and 10 after the penalty, ball to the 39-yard line. Smith with the carry, and he is tackled in the backfield for a loss. Hunter was there, the junior, to make the tackle for a loss. Lost maybe a yard there. Hunter came flying in after the ball. There he is, number 4.
Untouched. What a great play. Timed up. It seems like they're timing up the cadence a little bit too, and which giving them a quick jump.
22-0 is our score. The defense for Central York has 2 touchdowns tonight, 2 pick sixes, one by Morgan, one by Barr, and then the quarterback, Brooklyn Nace, has a 1-yard touchdown run, and it's 22-0. Baum, pressure coming, steps up in the pocket's going to run the football and gets across the 40 down to the 41-yard line. Gurley was the one chasing him and brought him down. Baum looked like he was going to have some yards up the middle. The pressure was coming from the end, but then making sure that he didn't go anywhere was Colin Gurley.
Yeah, it was a smart play. Looked like, you know, rush coming off the end there, like you said, and he just stepped up and took off and got what he could.
Another 3rd and long for Spring Grove. That's been the case for the majority of this first half for them, and they don't want to have that if they want to have success offensively. They want to stay away from 3rd and 7s. And there's a timeout on the field. And we'll step aside with a big 3rd down and 7 coming up for the Rockets when we get back. It is a goal out tonight in Spring Grove. Big play for the Rockets. 3rd and 7 coming up for them on their 41-yard line. They've been in 3rd and long situations most of the game. They want a conversion here. Here comes pressure, hit as he was about to throw the football. The ball is free. Gurley on the hit, and taking it back to the house is Dolly, the junior. That's a lineman's dream. Touchdown number 3 for the Central York defense. Gurley with the hit. Dolly picks it up and rumbles to the house. Here's another look on your Faulkner Honda touchdown.
He just has nowhere to go. They are fast. They get to the quarterback quickly, and what a great play.
Dolly picks up the fumble, and a lineman's dream runs for the score after the Gurley hit. Gurley made the hit. Dolly's in the end zone, the 6'1", 235-pound junior, and now 3 defensive touchdowns for Central York. Parker's extra point is up, and it is good. Here's a look at Spring Grove's quarterback, who's having a tough night tonight. 2 pick sixes, and that one he got hit. Davis Baum got hit by Gurley, and Dolly picked it up and scored it. Coming up next week, hard to believe it's week number 5 next week already. Boy, the season goes fast. We're back in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. Cumberland Valley, who's 2-1 on the season, against the Central Dauphin Rams, who's 1-2. Tonight, Cumberland Valley has a tough game against State College. Central Dauphin takes on Altoona tonight, coming off a 48-0 win over Carlisle last week after losing to Central York and Cedar Cliff in their first 2 weeks. Coach Oswald, the former coach at Central York, he lost to Manheim Township in week 1, and he's on a 2-game winning streak, beat Carlisle and Altoona with a tough game against State College tonight. So that's what we got next week. It is Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin, the Eagles and the Rams on Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. So another Good Feet Store kickoff for Matthew Parker. Back waiting for it is Smith. 3 defensive touchdowns, 2 pick sixes, and then a scoop and a long run after a hit for this Central York Panthers defense. That ball actually bounced at the 1 and into the end zone. Let's take another look at some of the quickest scoring summaries we've had all season. They're defensive scores, so it doesn't take much. Remarkable home buyers scoring summary. Take another look at this. Gurley comes up with the hit, and then Dolly scoops it. And there he goes to the house for the score. 29-0. The 3rd defensive touchdown, your remarkable home buyers scoring summary. Central York saying, we are the kings of the York Adams League football, looking for their 33rd consecutive division win. Dominant. They haven't lost since 2018 to a York Adams League team. So let's see if the Rockets can get things going. Down 29-0 here, 7:22 to go, second quarter. They give to Smith. Smith patient, gets across the 20, picks up 2 yards, and a penalty marker comes down as Smith gets to the 22-yard line. Have to wait for the penalty.
Came in late there.
If it's against Central York, it'd be the only thing they're doing wrong tonight, but it's not. I think it's against Spring Grove. Hold. So a hold on the Rockets. As far as the rest of the York Adams League, Biglersville, they're having their best season since 2012. They're 3-0. They have a big game against Malone Catholic tonight. And also in Division III, it's Bermuda Springs and York Tech and Malone Catholic all 2-1. In Division II of the York Adams League, Eastern York is having a super season. They're putting up big numbers. They're 3-0. They're at KD tonight. And then New Oxford's 3-0, and West York's also 3-0 in Division II of the York Adams League. 1st and 20 after the penalty. Davis Baum is at his 6-yard line and hands the ball off, and that is Dolly. He's all jacked up after that touchdown run. Comes up and blows up a play. A tackle for a loss by Dolly, the 6'1", 235-pound junior. Big number 69.
He met him in the backfield.
Let's listen in. Sounds of the game. Let's see if we can hear the hit. a little bit, snapping those pads, right? Dolly coming up and taking care of Carter Smith. 2nd and 22 now. The Rockets in a spot they don't want to be. Davis bombed the quarterback at his 4-yard line. Throws downfield, has a man towards the far sideline. And incomplete. Put it up there, trying to make the grab was to Kane. Kane, who has one catch, the sophomore, but Malik wasn't able to come down with it. Davis got that ball out pretty quickly to Kane.
He looked like he had him, but he just might have let it a little bit too far outside and keep him in bounds. But great effort.
We saw Gates, the senior, number 11, on coverage there. We saw a shot of him for Central York. Now with 3rd and 22. So many 3rd and longs tonight so far for Spring Grove, which is really tough against this super fast, aggressive defense. A high snap, they hand it to Smith. Smith has running room up the middle across the 15 and gets up to the 20-yard line. Good run by Smith. He picks up 12, but it'll be a 4th and 10. Sukanik made the stop for the Panthers. 12-yard pickup, but wasn't enough because they had that 2nd and 22, or 3rd and 22, excuse me.
So there's a nice big hole there for Smith to run through, though. First we've seen that tonight.
So the Rockets will punt it. Gobrecht standing at his 7 or 8-yard line. And Smith waiting to return the punt at about midfield. Ball takes a bounce and bounces backwards. So it takes a Central York roll. And they'll have great field position to start things at about the 38-yard line for Central York, who's already up 29-0. So last week, Central York took a long ride up to Delaware Valley to Milford, PA, almost into the New York State line there. Only a couple of miles and you're in New York State, about 3:45 bus ride. Keith Olsemer, former Penn State tight end, the head coach there at Delaware Valley. Of course, Coach Janchuk's a good friend of Coach Olsemer, so they agreed to make that long trip to Delaware Valley and got the win there, 31-20. Delaware Valley won the District 5A championship last year, so that was a good win for them. Still on his feet is Legend Johnson. Good tough running there, and he's brought down by Sorrell. So a good first down run by the sophomore.
You almost broke it.
Of course, we're so used, Chris, to seeing unbelievable running highlights over the last couple of years with Jules Goff. He was just incredible. On Friday Night Rivals, a couple of games that we had him, he put on unbelievable shows the nights our cameras showed up. Looked to get the ball to Sukanik on the quick hitter, but Saxton couldn't hold on to it. Eisenhart was there on the coverage. So Sukanik, UConn commit. You're looking at him to play on the defensive side of the ball, but at 6'4", 200, he's a pretty good target to have for Brooklyn Nace. There's a look at Sukanik. 4:59 to go before our Focal Point Remodeling halftime report. Highlights and stats from the first half and the best high school football highlights from around the country all coming up in our halftime show. Screen set up. They get the ball to Saxton Sukanik, who gets himself out of bounds and has a first down on the pass play, a kitchen saver first down. Sukanik, and there's a penalty marker down after the catch.
Ran a little drag screen here. Second time I think that we've seen that tonight.
29-0. But the scorings come from the Central York defense. They have 3 defensive touchdowns. Penalty on Spring Grove, personal foul against the Rockets. Coach Trone doesn't like that. Coach Trone, glad to be back at Spring Grove. He coached here for 12 years with his father. Then he went to Southwestern, was the defensive coordinator there for a long time. He's a teacher at the middle school, and glad to have his first head coaching job back at his home district, Spring Grove. Been a history teacher at the middle school for 25 years here at Spring Grove. Nace Rolled out of the pocket. Eyes still downfield and has the completion. What a catch there by Rupert, who's been out sick. They're glad to have Nasir Rupert back. He makes his first catch after being out sick. Kane made the stop on Rupert. Nace really extended that play.
Yeah, he did a great job. Keeping his eyes downfield, too, to make the completion. Little scramble drill there, working at its finest.
Good to have Rupert back, who's been out sick. So they're glad to have him back tonight. They have big plans for him. He's another big target. He's a 6'4", 205 receiver. Most of the receivers are 6'4", 6'3 in this Central York. That's why they're the 6A state basketball champs. They have some big, tall players. And, of course, Brooklyn Nace, starting point guard for the team, was the starting point guard his freshman year, and then last year as a sophomore, they beat Parkland to win the 6A state basketball championship. What a moment for Central York. What a moment for York County to win the state basketball title a year ago. Nace has 1 touchdown. The offense has scored once. So it's defense 3, offense 1 for Central York as far as scoring is concerned. Nace had a 1-yard touchdown run back in that first quarter. 4:23 to go. Week number 4, Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday night rivals in York County tonight, putting the spotlight on York Adams League football. Spotlight is bright for the Panthers. They are working in the Keystone Fireplace red zone. A second down for them, looking to add to their 29-0 lead. Coach Janczek has a question for the officiating crew. In his 5th season at Central York, what a record, 43-6. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Nace, eyes downfield, fires to the end zone, incomplete. Was looking to get the ball to Ramneth, the big tight end, and Gobrek was there on coverage. Watch, I don't know if Gobrek got his hand on it or not. Let's see if number 8 got his hand up on it. Nope, just in and out of the hands of Ramneth, the Monmouth commit, 6'4", 235. Big target in the back of the end zone.
A great job by Nace there, scanning the field, being patient, keeping his eyes downfield and going through his progression.
3rd and 5 now for Central York, knocking on the door with a 29-0 lead. They send Smith in motion. Nace rolling to his right, now coming back towards the middle, and Nace goes down for the sack. Ran out of real estate, and he was brought down by Zapp, who last year had 62 tackles, the junior. David Zapp with a big sack, his 2nd sack of the season for the 240-pound junior.
Great job by Spring Grove's defense there.
So here comes Matthew Parker to try this field goal. This will be a 30-yarder. Of course, he missed one tonight. 2nd attempt. He had a rare miss earlier. This is a 30-yarder. Should be a chip shot for Matthew Parker, but I want to put the announcer's jinx on him. He knocks it through and adds to the lead. Central York in complete control. They lead at 32-0 over Spring Grove. You're watching Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday night rivals. Defense 3 scores, special teams 1 score, offense 1 score. You add it all up, it's 32-0. Central York's defense has more yards with the ball than Spring Grove's entire offense. 116 yards defensively with their pick sixes and fumble returns to just 44 yards for the Spring Grove offense. And time for another Good Feet Store kickoff. See if it'll be another touchback for Matthew Parker. He's perfect on touchbacks tonight, and it is another touchback for the preferred walk-on to Penn State, Matthew Parker. Let's take a look at the scoring summary here on the field goal, the remarkable home buyer scoring summary. Give some points to the special teams and the leg of Matthew Parker, the 30-yard field goal. The remarkable home buyers scoring summary, 32-0. Central York in complete control for Coach Janczak. Coach Janczak talked about how he thought this Spring Grove team, the capability of beating Southwestern, Dallastown. He said, you know, they're young. They were really young last year, really young again this year. But he said, you know, with all the talent they have, they could be the preseason favorite to be a top 1-2 team in the York Adams League next year. That's how highly he thinks of Spring Grove. So the give to Carter, or Smith, excuse me, straight ahead, Carter Smith. Barr made the stop. 2-yard pickup by Carter Smith, 2nd and 8 now. With 3 minutes to go here before our Focal Point Remodeling halftime report. During the Focal Point Remodeling halftime report, be sure to watch for the PA Beef Council beef tip and recipe. It's all coming up. I hope you enjoyed the PSECU financial education tip, a focus on you. That's the PSECU difference. 2nd down for Baum, who's going to run. Stiff arm, and he's taken out of bounds. Shy of the 25-yard line on the Baum run. Fry was in there on the stop.
He quickly steps up there. He does a great job. It's a nice little window, but man, that window closed quickly on their defense.
So fast, so much team speed, and so many athletes on the Central York defense. Guys that can fly around, fly to the ball. They're not afraid to load it up like they did earlier in the game, 7-8 in that box, and really, really close to the line of scrimmage. Just daring someone to go downfield on them. Another 3rd down here for Spring Grove. That's been the story of this first half offensively. A lot of 3rd down. This one's a little more manageable. See if Davis Baum can get it with his legs, and was heading toward positive yards, but then was tackled by Josh Barr, who has a pick 6 tonight. The sophomore having a huge night. The 6-foot, 175-pound sophomore, number 26, with a pick 6, and he has 3 or 4 tackles tonight. 2:16 to go before our Focal Point Remodeling halftime report. So there's a timeout on the field. Central York calls time. Coming up tomorrow on CBS 21, the place to be is your couch, Chris. 3:30, you got Notre Dame and Purdue. You have somewhere to be, but see if Notre Dame could bounce back from a shocking 16-14 loss to Northern Illinois. I still can't get over that. And see how Purdue does with their 2nd-year head coach, Ryan Walters, and then Coach Prime, Colorado and Colorado State, who scored 78 points between the two teams the last time they met. Should be a wild one at 7:30. College football tomorrow on CBS 21. And then the NFL starts with the NFL Today at noon, and then it's the Raiders and Ravens at 1. Steelers and Broncos at 4:25. Let's see if the Steelers can stay undefeated. They did it with their defense last week in the win over Atlanta. So a 4th down, another punt coming for Holden Gobrecht. Punting from his 10, gets it off. What a boom, good punt. Takes Smith all the way back to the 35. On the return goes Smith, runs the right side, gets the midfield, across midfield, into Rocket territory to the 45-yard line. So a 20-yard return for Smith. Moore made the stop. Yeah, you'll be busy tomorrow. Chris Thompson, the offensive coordinator for Lebanon Valley College. Tomorrow, you'll be at home, Annville, against a pretty good Stevenson team tomorrow at 1. Should be a good game.
Yes, should be.
Of course, Lebanon Valley opened their season on Friday night, just like the high school, lost to Franklin and Marshall. And tomorrow, home opener against Stevenson, and that's where he'll be tomorrow. Big game for Lebanon Valley. Here comes some pressure on Nace, and he is brought down, and Coach Janczak's not happy. Stockert was the one that got to him, the sophomore. Got to Stockett got the sack, puts Nace down for the second sack of the night for this Rockets defense. This Rocket defense that had six turnovers last week in their big, huge win over KD. Their defense last week was on point in their 57-0 win a week ago. Quick hitter, they get it out, and the completion to Rupert. Rupert across the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Lawrence was the one that got him out of bounds after Nasir Rupert's second catch of the night. Rupert, 6'4", 205-pound senior, has been out sick. He's back. So 3rd and 3 coming now for the Panthers, working in Rockets territory with a 32-0 lead. Nace rolls out to his right, goes downfield and throws it in front of his receiver into the dirt and incomplete. So that wasn't Nace's best effort, but he certainly worked very hard this offseason. And of course, you know, doing the double dip with this starting point guard as a basketball player, his decision making so good. Has not thrown an interception this year and has thrown the ball almost 90 times.
It's a lot of throws. Although I think he did have the guy in the flat there last play and just overlooked him.
So 4th down, and the Panthers are going for it straight ahead, and they have the first down, the kitchen saver first down. Go behind their offensive line that isn't quite as big as. Let's take a look at the hole there by that offensive line created. Running straight ahead was Legend Johnson for the first. Under a minute to go. Here's Nace to throw. Here comes some pressure. Nace is going to go down again. Another sack. The 3rd time he's been sacked tonight by this Rocket defense. They're able to get to Nace. Mason Baumgartner was the one that comes up with the sack, and Zapp in there as well. So 54 and 72 causing trouble on that defensive line. Take a look as Baumgartner and Zapp are all over Brooklyn Nace. Big loss all the way back to the 38-yard line on that sack. So that's a bright spot for the Rockets tonight, their 3rd sack of this first half. There's a look at David Zapp, who had 62 tackles a year ago. Junior has a couple of sacks here tonight.
Yeah, last couple sacks, he's done a nice job using his hands and getting upfield and getting to the quarterback. It's been impressive.
Good technique, right?
Yep.
Central York has won 5 straight York Adams League Division I titles. Haven't lost, as I mentioned, a York Adams League game since 2018. That year they lost 2. They lost to Redland back on September the 14th, and in the last game of the regular season they lost to York High the final week of the regular season, then lost in the first round of the playoffs that year to the Central Dauphin Rams. Nace throwing, has the completion to Smith. Smith making a man miss, dancing down close to the 10-yard line, and he's tackled at the 12, and that's good enough for a kitchen saver first down inside the red zone fireplace. Inside the Keystone fireplace, red zone, Nace to Smith.
Great read, great throw there by Nace. It looked like they ran 4 verticals, and he put it right on the money, right down the seam to the slot receiver there. 23
seconds to go, and Central York is looking for more points here, up 32-0 before the half. The Panthers became the first York County team to win a District 3 championship in the biggest classification, and they were the first to win a PIAA playoff game past the district level, and the first to reach a state championship game, of course. So they are the class of the York Adams League. They went on to the state championship game in 2020 and lost to St. Joe's Prep in the state championship game that year. And that was Coach Janczak's first year. He took over for Coach Oswald here at Central York. Penalty marker is down. Going to delay a game on the Panthers. So that'll move them back, maybe give their passing game a couple more yards to work with. 5-yard penalty. And second down now. There's a good look at Coach Janczak. We'll hear from him here at the end of this first half and get a couple of thoughts from Coach. Nace, end zone, has a man, touchdown, right in the breadbasket. What a throw What a catch by Sukanik with the touchdown. What a pretty throw there. Nace just put it right in Sukanik's bread box. And take another look at our Focal Honda touchdown.
One-on-one coverage on the outside. What a great throw. Great use of his hand-eye coordination there.
What a pretty pass.
Yep.
Of course, you got to give Sukanik a little bit of credit as well for a little hand-eye coordination to be able to look over his shoulder and watch it come right into.
And still stay in bounds.
So here's, little miss. The snap was bad, and the throw for the two-point conversion, and they got it. How about to the kicker, Matthew Parker? So the snap was bad to the holder. The holder picks it up, and Matthew Parker has 2 points and gets the two-point conversion, and it's 40-0. I'm going to have to see this again.
It's not really how you draw it up, but man, what a great job here.
So there,
Heads-up play.
Was that designed?
No, absolutely not.
Smith threw it. So Smith was the holder. It came back a little shaky, so Parker wasn't going to kick it. Parker says, I'll just roll out here, and Smith threw him the two-point conversion, and it's 40-0. I haven't seen that before. You never know what you're going to see on Friday Night Rivals. There's always something new, and that was something. The snap came back bad to Smith, so he pulled a, who was that on the Peanuts? Who used to pull the, Linus? Who used to pull the, Peppermint Patty. Peppermint Patty used to pull it out, and Peppermint Patty pulled it out, and Smith got up and threw a two-point conversion to Matthew Parker. There's a look at Matthew Parker. See if he has yet another touchback on another Good Feet Store kickoff. With 16 seconds to go here in the first half. It's been all Central York. And yet another touchback. So let's take a look at how they scored this one. Remarkable homebuyer scoring summary. What a great pass. Brooklyn Nace right over the shoulder of Saxton Sukanik for the touchdown. Your remarkable homebuyer scoring summary. And then the two-point conversion, and it's 40-0 here at the half. All Central York. Big crowd on hand tonight here, Spring Grove. First time we've been at Spring Grove in a number of years at Papermaker Stadium. Don't forget, we'll have our Focal Point Remodeling halftime report coming up. Handoff straight up the middle goes Carter Smith. That'll be the final play of the first half. It's time now for both teams to hit the showers, with the West Shore home hitting the showers as they head to the locker room. Halftime here at Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics. Friday Night Rivals with the score 40-0. So we'll have much more on the halftime report coming up. We'll also hear from Coach Janczak down on the sideline. Coming up on the halftime show, highlights and stats from the first half. Also, the best high school football highlights from around the country. It's all coming up on the Focal Point Remodeling halftime report. It's been all Central York in this one. 3 defensive touchdowns. Also a special teams touchdown with the field goal. 30-yard field goal by Parker, and then a touchdown pass by Nace and a touchdown run. We're waiting for Coach Janczak and see if we can get a word from him. We'll wait till he's in place and get a quick couple of words from Coach Janczak. All right, Coach, Phil Shaner with you. Great first half. I mean, you can't say enough about your defense. They got not 1, not 2, but 3 defensive touchdowns. Start with them. Great first half for the defense.
Well, thank you, Phil. As I told you in the interview before the game, I said our defense can really run. They're fast, and they, the thing that they need to do, it's tough if you're going to stretch the field sideline to sideline because of the speed and athleticism. So I was very, very proud of them, their efforts. Getting three defensive scores is just tremendous.
You have some players that have been out that are back that have already played big for you in the first half. You're starting to get healthy. That's exciting to see, too, for you, Coach.
It definitely helps, because it's difficult when you're a starter, you've been out. So we did get some guys back, and I think that really paid big dividends in this first half.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Have a great second half. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, at the half, Central York 40, Spring Grove nothing. We'll be back with your Focal Point Remodeling halftime report from Spring Grove when we get back.
This is the Focal Point Remodeling Halftime Report. This is the Focal Point Remodeling Halftime Report.
It is all Central York tonight as they continue to try to keep their streak alive. Things are looking good. They have 32 consecutive division wins in the York Adams League, and they lead at 40-0. The defense has been the story. Their quarterback, Nace, has been pretty good, too. 9 of 13, 130 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Time to take a look at some of the greatest plays in high school football from around the country. Enjoy.
Leaping grab, touchdown Hartford.
Nice if they don't complete this pass.
So Noah Legg.
You better make it. You better make it.
He gets all the way
did.
for the
He's
touchdown.
in the end zone.
Noah Legg, 10 yards for the Conway touchdown with just 23 seconds left on the clock.
Some great plays there, that's for sure. Gold out tonight. Big crowd on hand for this York Adams League matchup, but it's been all Panthers. We are at the half. You're watching the Focal Point Remodeling Halftime Report in York County tonight.
This is the focal. This is the Focal Point Remodeling halftime report.
Central York in complete control at the half, 40-0 over Spring Grove. Time now for our Scholar Athletes. Brought to you by Schellenberger Januzzi and Wolf LLP. Our Scholar Athletes tonight from Central York, Saxon Sukanik, football, basketball, track and field, a three-sport athlete. Of course, he is a UConn commit. So great to see him tonight getting our Scholar Athlete. And Kylie Hinson from Spring Grove, field hockey, track and field. Both of these athletes also outstanding in the classroom. The students chosen each week for the Scholar Athlete are also eligible to win a $3,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season, courtesy of Schellenberger Januzzi Wolf LLP, who are so proud to support and encourage outstanding student athletes across central Pennsylvania. Congratulations to all the student athletes and our two student athletes tonight. The score at the half, Central York 40, Spring Grove nothing. You're watching the Focal Point Remodeling halftime report.
This is the Focal Point Remodeling halftime report.
Phil Shaner alongside Chris Thompson. We're at the half. Central York rolling 40-0. Let's take a look at our Focal Point Remodeling first half highlights. If you like defense, you like special teams, you like Central York, you're going to like these highlights. Here's the pick six to get us started. Opening drive, Dwayne Morgan, 32-yard interception return. It was 7-0 just like that. And then Brooklyn Nace, a 1-yard touchdown run, a 9-play, 61-yard drive. 14-0 Panthers, and their defense wasn't done. Josh Barr. Pick six, second one of the game. It was 22-0. And the defense wasn't done. The hit by Gurley. The scoop by Dolly. And Dolly, big number 69. In for the score, 29-0, 3 defensive touchdowns. Parker, who missed a field goal earlier, makes this one from 30 yards out. And then a beautiful pass, Nace to Sukanik for the touchdown, and that's where we are at the half, 40-0. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. Chris will bring you in on this. You see the dominance there as we want to switch, obviously, those. Central York is where Spring Grove would be. So Central York has the 127 yards passing. So reverse and flip those numbers, but what do you think of the first half?
Well, you said it already. It's been dominant by Central York for the first half on both sides, actually in all three phases. And it's been hard to, Spring Grove hasn't really had a chance to get much going.
Spring Grove only 41 yards rushing, only 17 yards passing. And then you saw the big numbers that Central York was able to put up. So the second half is coming up. You are watching the Focal Point Remodeling halftime report. The Panthers cruising over the Rockets 40-0.
As part of a comprehensive educational program preparing the district's learners for success and leadership in the 21st century. And as always, we thank you, the folks in the stands, for supporting your Central York Panthers.
Running clock, right? Running clock.
Running clock, yeah. Yeah, because mercy rule's in effect, right?
Yeah.
What is in high school? What is mercy rule? 21?
No,
28?
30, 32, I think. 32, 31, 31. Look at that drone up there.
Yeah.
See it? The red and the red. See the red, red and green?
Yep.
That's wild.
As I said to you earlier, it's from a coaching standpoint.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is sponsored by EricBuysYourHouse.com.
40-0's our score. Central York, a dominant team, looking for their 33rd consecutive division win in the York Adams League. Well in control. It's been since 2018 that they lost to another York Adams League team. Incredible. Coming up next week. Week number 5 already of the high school football season. Back to the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. It'll be Cumberland Valley against Central Dauphin. Cumberland Valley 2-1, Central Dauphin 1-2. The Eagles taking on State College tonight, and the Rams taking on Altoona. We'll have those two teams next week. We'll be back with more from Spring Grove as our Focal Point Remodeling halftime show rolls on. Central York in control, up 40-0. 3 defensive touchdowns, a special team touchdown, 2 by the offense. They're getting it all different kinds of ways, and the Panthers rolling 40-0 on this game that featured 2 2-1 teams coming in. Spring Grove 2-1, Central York 2-1, also Southwestern 2-1 in the York Adams League Division I, a division that Central York has won the last 5 years, but sitting atop the Division I this year is Dallastown. They're 3-0. They have a big game tonight at Southwestern. Red Line, who's 1-2. York High is 0-3. They're at Northeastern tonight. Northeastern also 0-3 in the Division I of the York Adams League. Tell you what, beautiful stadium here at the campus of Spring Grove School District. gorgeous campus, almost like a small college feel.
Yeah, it absolutely feels like that here.
Great stadium, great new scoreboard. A lot of folks packing the stands as you get a look at the Papermaker Stadium, Spring Grove School District. So the second half coming up. Of course, I don't think at this point both teams want to make sure they don't get an injury on both teams. You want to make sure at a 40-0 game that no one gets injured, and kind of looking ahead what's next. So next week, Central York will be back home against Southwestern, and then after that, they're at Dallastown. So they'll know a lot about themselves in the next 2 weeks, with Southwestern and Dallastown in week 5 and 6 coming up for the Central York Panthers. For Spring Grove, Conestoga Valley, and then at Northeastern. And they'll finish with Dallastown in week 9 and Southwestern in week 10. This was a Spring Grove team last year that started the season 0-4. They lost to Central York 56-7, but then they went on a 3-game winning streak. They beat Eastern York, they beat Northeastern and Red Lion, and they put up big numbers doing it. They beat Eastern York 55-13. They put up 66 points against Northeastern, and then 63 points in their 3rd straight win against Red Lion. But then they finished the season with 3 straight losses and finished the year 3-7 a year ago. As far as the series is concerned, Central York has won 8 straight. The last Spring Grove win in this series was back in 2015, a 24-14. The other win since 2004 was in 2012. And there is our Good Feet Store kickoff to start the second half. Ball is on the turf and it's loose, but Fry was able to come up with the football. So that could have been a nice play for Spring Grove if they were able to fall on it, but Fry was able to pull it away for Central York.
Real close opportunity there for Spring Grove to get a nice turnover there to start the second half.
Coach Trone, the Spring Grove coach, interesting story. He's Tommy Trone Jr., everybody knows senior. He was the head football coach from the mid-70s to 1990 here at Spring Grove, and really built this football program, and his son is back to try to bring things back. There's the completion out of the backfield is Johnson with the catch, and McMaster made the stop after the completion to Legend Johnson.
Great protection, hits Johnson in the flat.
Nace looks so comfortable, doesn't he?
Yep.
No stress, even though he's been sacked 3 times in the first half. Really no stress at all, just complete control.
Seems to have really good poise for a junior.
That's what you need, poise as a quarterback and also the point guard of the state championship basketball team. Straight up the middle across the 40-yard line goes Legend Johnson. McMaster made the stop again, but it's a 1-800 junk first down run by Johnson. We're going to see a lot of the sophomore, who really played great the first 2 weeks of the season, but was out last week, didn't make the trip to Delaware Valley. He was sick all week, coach said. He wasn't in school, and now he's feeling better. They give it back to Johnson. He's across the 45 to the 46, so a good first down run there by Johnson. Stop made by Harris. Harris last year made 53 tackles for this Rockets defense as a junior last year. Harris number 9. Give it right back to Legend Johnson. Legend across midfield into Rocket territory and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Lawrence was the one that ran Johnson out of bounds. So Central York, the last couple of years, and they've had a lot of success, but they had a running game because they had Jules Goff, who's now at Pitt. And boy, did he put on a show as far as running the football. But now this year, they're more of a passing team with Nace. Of course, now with a 40-0 lead, they're going to work on their running game and get the sophomore Logan Johnson some extra carries. This time they get it to Smith. He is very special and very quick, and he gets up to the 40-yard line before he is brought down. Is the football still free? I guess it is, and gets out of bounds. Lawrence was in there on the play, messing things up, but the Panthers recover the Smith fumble. They want to try to get Smith the ball any way they can. Coach Janczek said he is the quickest player on the team. He came into this game leading the team in receptions with 20, and he called Smith, besides his, his 5'10", 150-pound height and weight, that he's a very special talent. There was a look at Eisenhart, the defensive player for the Rockets. Plenty of time. Now the pocket collapses. Sack number 4 is coming for the Rockets defense. Stockert makes the sack, and that's the 4th sack of the night for this defense. Stockett, the sophomore, with the 4th sack of the night. There's a penalty down.
Great job keeping the quarterback contained in the pocket, and what a great effort there by Spring Grove.
So Spring Grove, their positive tonight is the way that their defensive line and linebackers have played as far as putting some pressure. That's 4 sacks on the night against a very athletic Brooklyn Nace quarterback. There's a look at Coach Trone on the sideline wearing the yellow, the gold, I should say, the gold out tonight. Gold out for children's cancer awareness. So 3rd and 20 after a 10-yard loss on the sack. Nace hands it to Legend Johnson. Johnson has running room down the far sideline and finally knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line by Eisenhart. He's a pretty big load coming your way. Legend Johnson, of course, his brother Allie Johnson, and his dad's on the coaching staff, Allie Johnson Sr. So there's 2 Johnsons. One's a freshman, one's a sophomore, and Allie, they were going to have him playing this year, but he injured his shoulder in preseason camp and needs surgery, so you only get 1 Johnson instead of 2. And then they only have Hunter in that running back room because Cameron Deal broke his thumb in the Delaware Valley game last week. So Central York has been so dominant in York Adams Division I, and they have Southwestern next week in Dallastown, and then Northeastern, then Redland, Archbishop Hoban out of Ohio in week 9, and then York High to finish the season. And that pass is complete. Lawrence was there on coverage. Good job by number 4 on coverage there. Let's see this play again.
Great job rolling left on the flood concept. It's a great job there by Nace throwing. It's not easy to do, rolling left and throwing left.
Colin Gurley made the catch. The 6'3", 235-pound junior comes up with the grab. The clock will run here with a 40-0 score in this 3rd quarter of week 4 of Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday night rivals. So they get it on downs, and let's see what the Rockets will do with it. It's Carter Smith running straight ahead back to the line of scrimmage, and that is as far as Carter Smith will get. Smith in that first half had 12 carries for 36 yards. So now 13 carries for 34 yards as he lost 2. Dolly made the stop. Dolly, who had a highlight reel, something he's not going to ever forget, the scoop and score. Gurley had the hit. Dolly got the touchdown. You think that's going to be on his X or snap or whatever they have? That highlight will be on there for sure. What a moment for him. Carter Smith running straight ahead, and Carter Smith picks up 3 yards. And now 3rd and 9, Hunter made the stop from his defensive end position. So on 3rd downs tonight, they've been in a bunch of 3rd downs, just 2 of 10 on 3rd downs tonight for the Rockets. So 3rd and long again, they've been in 3rd and long situations the majority of the first half. And again, hard to convert on 3rd and long situations, and they had trouble with it, just 2 of 10 on 3rd downs for the Rockets. So let's see what they'll do 3rd and 9. Davis bombed the quarterback. He's been picked off twice tonight and also had a hit. Was out of the game for a few plays, but came back, showing his toughness. Passing situation for him. Play action fake to Smith, and he's going to run the football. Gets to the 40-yard line, gets across the 40 to the 41 on the bomb run. And Morgan was in there on the stop. Little play action to Smith.
Yeah, I like the call, but it was definitely I didn't see any receiver, so I think it was a naked boot there for the quarterback.
Mummert was the running back last year, and Roland, who was at Bloomsburg, was the quarterback. So they were the top key players that they had to replace on the quarterback and running back side a year ago. It's time now for our mustache cam. You're going to love this, Chris. This is powered by Barber Styling Institute. We scanned the field for the best mustaches in the stadium. You're rocking a mustache yourself.
Love it, yeah.
A little goatee action. What do you think of the mustaches? That's a similar goatee that you got rocking.
Yeah.
Barber Styling Institute looking for the top mustaches here tonight in Spring Grove. We do it every third quarter on Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics. There it is. There it is. Let's.
Yeah.
If I had a razor here, we can do a little something with that, right? There it is. Hey, you made Mustache Cam. Welcome to the team, buddy. Now you know you made it. You made Mustache Cam, powered by Barber Styling Institute. The player injured is getting some help off the field. That's one thing we talked about. We don't want to see any injuries for either team on a 40-0 score. Payne was the injured player. Hopefully he'll be okay. You know, Central York's had some injuries, also had some sickness they've been battling the first couple of weeks. There's Payne getting help to the sideline. You don't want to see an injury for either team with 4 weeks into the season and a whole lot of football to be played. So here we go, 4th down coming up for the Rockets. They'll punt the football. Smith is back. Goberg will punt it. He's standing at his 29-yard line. Good snap. Gets a good boom off. Smith is back to get it and takes a bounce and goes out of bounds. College football tomorrow on CBS 21. Notre Dame, how will they respond from their embarrassing loss at home last week to Northern Illinois, as they'll be at Purdue? That's at 3:30. And then 7:30, Coach Prime, the Buffalo, will take on Colorado State in a Rocky Mountain showdown. That should be a lot of fun. The NFL on CBS, 1 o'clock, Raiders and Ravens. Both teams looking for their first win. The Ravens come back against Kansas City, fell short, and the Chargers beat the Raiders last week, and then it's the Steelers and the Broncos at 4:25, a doubleheader on Sunday. The NFL on CBS 21. So some good football this weekend. They get the ball to number 0, and that is Fry. Tyler Fry, who again is majority playing defense this year, but they put him in on special situations, and he has enough for a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down on the little pass. As you see, Nace just there dropped it off for him, and off goes Fry.
Little jet sweep action.
Yep. Fry's a guy they'd like to run that for, and also Smith, 13, 2 of the faster players. And a penalty marker on Central York, who had 5 penalties for 45 yards in the first half. And now penalty number 6 for them, and it'll bring that run by Fry back. 5:11 to go, third quarter, 40-0. Central York, they scored a lot and fast. 3 defensive touchdowns, 2 pick sixes, fumble return for a score. Parker has a 30-yard field goal. Nace has a touchdown pass and a touchdown run for the 40 points for the Panthers. They put Smith in motion. Nace hands it off. Straight up the middle goes Legend Johnson. Johnson gets himself just shy of the 20-yard line. McMaster made the stop for the Rockets after the Legend Johnson run.
Good time to run a little draw, which is what they did here.
2 returning starters on that offensive line. John Tuttle, the offensive line coach, does a great job for Central York. Always gets the most out of his linemen. Not really big, as you can see, but they've been playing pretty well up front. Of course, Nace has been sacked a few times tonight. There's a little screen to Smith. Smith has speed down the sidelines and gets out of bounds, as Eisenhart was in front of him to make sure that Smith would get out of bounds. Smith, the leading receiver for Nace this season, and Central York coming into this game at 20 catches. Coming in to the game. And he has 3 catches for 67 yards tonight for Smith. A talented, very quick junior. 3rd and 4 now. Let's see what Nace can do on this 3rd and 4. If he can keep the drive alive. Give it up the middle. Good job by Spring Grove to collapse on that. And unable to get the first down as Johnson was stopped after a yard. A whole bunch of Rockets in on the stop.
That was a great job by Spring Grove's defensive line there. Are we going to see Central York punt for the first time tonight?
Yeah, and that was Hunter on the carry, number 4. the junior. So Hunter got his second carry of the night. Of course, Hunter's dad played at Iowa, also played for the New Orleans Saints. So Jeremiah Hunter with his second carry of the night for Panthers, but is only able to pick up a yard. So it's time now to see what kind of punter that Matthew Parker is. We've seen him kick off tonight a lot and kick a field goal. Pretty good punt. All the way back to the 35 as the fair catch was muffed a little bit. And that's where Spring Grove will have the ball. Eisenhart was the one that was able to fall on it. 2:34 to go, and we'll step aside and be back after this. While you're away, Spring Grove with an incomplete pass on their first down. So now 2nd and 10 for the Rockets. Second and 10, 1:18, clock running here, third quarter. Davis Baum with the pass, and short of his intended target, Smith. Looking for Smith. Smith is one of the team leaders. Him and Lawrence really lead this team offensively, two juniors. Again, this is still a very young team. Not too many seniors on this team. And they played a lot of young players, freshman and sophomore last year. Speaking of that, on the offensive line, 3 of the 5 starters are returning. Very young last year with a freshman and 2 sophomores. And of course, they lost Michael Hershey, big 33 player, is at the University of Maryland, was a big offense and defensive lineman for Spring Grove last year. He's obviously a big loss for them. Baum to pass. Pocket closes, but he was able to stay on his feet and fires and has the completion at the 40-yard line. So great job to extend that play and finally gets the ball to Smith. Smith came back for it. Dolly was there. I didn't think Baum was going to get out of that. Looks like he was going to go down, and showed some strength and was able to extend that play.
Yep, did a nice job. Keeping his eyes downfield and found his receiver on the sideline.
So that'll be the final play of the third quarter. We are heading to the fourth quarter on Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. It's 40-0 Panthers. 4th down to start the 4th quarter for the Rockets. And they'll punt the football again. Holden Gobrek to punt it. And boots this one straight up in the air. Takes a bounce all the way down to the 21-yard line, and that's where Central York will have the football. It's time to raise the roof by Abel and Son Roofing. Before you call, sign. Before you call before you sign, call us, Abel and Son Roofing, with the cheerleaders and the band all fired up. The band all dressed in black tonight. Raising the roof, brought to you by Abel, Son Roofing and Siding. Before you sign, call Abel and Son Roofing. John Check, his 44th win in his 5th season. Central York with only 6 losses. Former head coach at Central Dauphin East, played his college ball at East Stroudsburg, was a quarterback there. 1984 grad of ESU. He's from Tunkhannock, played at Tunkhannock High School, and then went to ESU, played under Coach Dodds, of course. Swirl on the stop there. 1984, quarterback from ESU. He says the biggest offensive influence for him was former University of Kentucky coach Hal Mumme and his air raid offense. And that's what he has going. He runs his air raid offense here for Central York, and Hal Mumme ran it really well when he was the head coach at Kentucky. So now on the run comes Hunter. There's a penalty marker down, as Hunter was running hard. We'll have to wait for the flag. Braxton in on the stop. That's a hold. So penalty number 7 now on the Panthers. Penalty, excuse me, that's penalty number 8. Before this, they had 7 for 64. So this is the 8th penalty of the night. So a 10-yard penalty. So 8 penalties for 75 yards for the Panthers.
Yeah, you see it right there on the perimeter, wide receiver. Unfortunately, you get your hands outside there like that, almost every time.
So 2nd and 21. They'll replay the down after the penalty was marked off. Yep, handoff to Hunter, straight ahead.
Number 4, Hunter, the ball carrier.
Jasson, the quarterback, now in for Brooklyn Nace. Braxton made the stop.
Andrew Eister on the stop for the Rockets.
So there's a look at Jeremiah Hunter. Talked about him and his father, who played in Iowa and played in the NFL for a little bit. Very talented. They played at Mannheim Central, same place that my partner Chris Thompson played.
A little bit ago.
Yeah, a little while ago. Running straight ahead is Hunter, and he gets to the 20-yard line. So that running back room had 4 people in it. It had Johnson and Deal and Hunter and the 2 Johnsons, but with Johnson, Allie Johnson Jr. and Cameron Deal both hurt, there's 2 guys in that running back room. All they needed for the last couple of years was 1 guy, and that was number 0, Jules Goff. I see that Taylor Fry is taking over Jules' number, that number 0 that Jules wore famously the last couple of years and all the success that he had. He's at the University of Pitt now. So Central York shows their dominance. You know, you weren't sure. You thought maybe the streak had a chance to be broken. Spring Grove, a team on the rise, comes in 2-1. The streak will go to 33 consecutive division wins for them. And next week, Central York back home against Southwestern, then at Dallastown, at Northeastern the next couple of weeks for the Panthers. They're in a punting situation here now, 4th down. They'll punt it away. Clock will run throughout this 4th quarter. Don't forget, we'll have the catch of the game. It'll be coming up later. Stay tuned for the United States Marines catch of the game, as well as the Friday Night Rivals trophy presentation, all coming up. That ball falls down to the 41-yard line. It's time now for our plays of the game. Just not one play. We have more than one play with a night like this. Let's hear it for the defense. Brought to you by the Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. The defense was having dinner all night long. Morgan with the interception, the pick six. And then Josh Bear with the pick six. Oh, the defense isn't done. How about the hard hit by Gurley? And Dolly picks up the fumble and takes it to the house. There's your plays of the game. 3 defensive scores, all sponsored by the PA Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Impressive, 3 defensive touchdowns, and it's 40-0 here in a running clock in Spring Grove. What else can you say about that defense, Chris?
Yeah, it was first half was extremely impressive.
Central York's only loss of the season was to Manheim Township back in week 2, 28-10. And talking to Coach Janchik this week, he said, Phil, I'll tell you, if there's a better team in District 3, I want to know who it is, because he was very impressed with that Manheim Township team.
Yeah.
Shabazz Scott with the carry and Morgan with the stop.
Especially since they held them to only 10 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got some explosive players on offense.
And he said that they're one of those teams, you know, Manheim Township is, that lined up in that power I, which you don't see much anymore. You used to see it a lot. That's all you saw in high school football 20 years ago.
Yep.
Now, you hardly ever see it.
Yep.
And they lined up in that power I and just said, we're coming. Can you stop us?
Wow.
And a lot of teams haven't. I mean, Manheim Township is rolling in District 3. So 1st and 20 after that penalty. See what the Rockets can do. Final 8 minutes of this game. And the key here is to get both teams out of this game without an injury. Get ready for next week. Pass is incomplete. Lenny is in at quarterback, number 15. Here you see number 15 in for a bomb at quarterback. Hess was the intended target. Incomplete. So Valenti, the backup quarterback who played a little bit after Baum got hurt back in the first quarter, is in the game here, getting some valuable varsity experience. Imagine we'll try to get some other players in as well at this point to give them a little Friday night lights, under the lights here on Wellspan Urgic Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals, a little bit of varsity experience. 2nd and 20. Valenti who hands it off. That is Shabazz Scott, who was over 100 yards last week in their big win over KD. He had 102 yards rushing, so they had 200-yard rushers last week in their dominating win over KD. Smith had over 100 yards rushing, and then Shabazz Scott also over 100 yards rushing in their 57-0 win over Kennerdale last week. Shabazz Scott is a 6 foot, 171-pound sophomore. Last week, 13 carries, 105 yards, was averaging 8 yards a carry.
It's a good night.
Yeah, very good night last week for him. So 3rd and 16. And Valenti will keep it himself, and he's brought down at the 40-yard line by Barr. Tough night for Spring Grove, but they'll try to learn. You never lose, you only learn. That's what the coaching staff will do. We'll look at this film, pick out some of the things that they did well. They pressured the quarterback well. They had 4 or 5 sacks. They'll pick out the things that they need to work on and get ready for the rest of the season. For them, they'll take on Conestoga Valley here next week, and then at Northeastern, and then home with Red Lion and York High. They finish on the road at Dallastown and Southwestern. Valenti's pass is incomplete. He went downfield to Hess. It's time now for our catch of the game, brought to you by the United States Marines, a collective purpose, an effective mission. And this was a pretty pass. Very nice. Brooklyn Nace right in the bread basket. Saxton Sukanic with the catch right over the shoulder, just like you do it in the backyard. Done here under the lights. The catch of the game brought to you by the United States Marines, a collective purpose, an effective mission. Again, some of the crowd has left, but pretty much both bleachers tonight were packed. Big crowd here in York County for this football game tonight, and it's been all Central York. Central York just been very, very good. Last year 11-1, 2022 they were 10-2, 2021 they were 10-1. The year they went to the state title game in 2020 they were 10-1. And then in 2019, Oswald's last year as the head coach, they were 9-2, and they made it to the quarterfinals in districts and lost to Harrisburg. That was Gorman on the stop. The tackle there. So very dominating Central York has been. And for Spring Grove, they want stability. They've gone through 3 head coaches in the last 4 seasons. So they're looking for some stability. Past 5 years for them, 24 and 25 for Spring Grove. So they're hoping for some better days to come. Handoff up the middle, not much there. The Rockets won just 4 games from a stretch of 2017 to 2019. They had a big year in 2021, not that long ago. 2021, they were 10-2. They had playoff wins over Twin Valley and Waynesboro, and then they lost to Governor Mifflin 38-13 in the District 3 5A semifinals. That was back in 2021. They're hoping for stability now with Coach Trone Jr. as a Spring Grove graduate. Graduated here in 1993. Central York just continues to run the rock, to run the clock out. Dominic on the run, Smith on the stop. Good enough for a kitchen saver first down. So the Panthers will go to 3-1 on the season. The Rockets even things up 2-2. I imagine the Central York team will look to make it 6 straight York Adams Division I titles. They're very good and try to make a run in that District 3 playoffs. We'll see if they have a rematch with Manheim Township maybe down the road. Completion there. Catch was made by Joshua Conrad with the catch. Eister made the stop for the Rockets with 3 minutes to go now in this game. 7-yard pickup on that pass play. The catch by Joshua Conrad. So some of the backups for Central York getting an opportunity. Burgess on the carry. Central York extremely impressive with the 3 defensive touchdowns. Special teams score. Parker had the 30-yard field goal, missed a field goal tonight, which is rare, and then had that 2-point conversion catch. That's the play he'll be talking about later.
But the thing that's key for them is his kickoffs. He has touchbacks every time.
Dominic Burgess there on the carry for Central York in the final 2 minutes of this game. German made the stop for the Rockets. Some of the backup players get an opportunity to play. So 4th down coming up. 4th and a long 3 for Coach Janczek's team. He's happy that his team's getting healthy. He was feeling a little under the weather when I spoke with him yesterday. A lot of his team had mono. Mono was going around the school. As we mentioned before, that Legend Johnson was out sick last week and wasn't able to play against Delaware Valley in their win a week ago. So we still have our player of the game, powered by Milk. We'll have that for you coming up. Also, the Champions Trophy presentation. As we will wrap things up. 33 consecutive Division York Adams League wins for Central York. False start against the Panthers. That'll move them back. So we'll see. I mean, Southwestern next week, then at Dallastown, at Northeastern. Those are the next 3 weeks for the Central York Panthers, who just really look dominant here tonight. The defense, the speed is a big factor in the way they fly to the football, and they're not afraid to jam the box. 7 or 8 in there. Passing towards the end zone they go, and incomplete, as it was Jacob Allou's the intended target. So Allou almost came up with the grab, thrown there by the backup quarterback, Brady Wolchuk. It's time now for the player of the game, powered by Milk, Alloyed Milk Producers. And our player of the game is the quarterback. The quarterback on the football team, the point guard on the basketball team, Brooklyn Nace. Threw it for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. Still has no interceptions on the season. Close to about 100 passes attempted now with no interceptions and 8 touchdown passes he's thrown. Brooklyn Nace was a player of the game, powered by Milk here tonight. On the run there, Spring Grove, Devarius. And there is a look at our player of the game, Brooklyn Nace. Rockets get a first down. Kitchen Saver first down. We'll have the Champions Trophy presentation coming up. As the man that's going to present the trophy shaking the press box on his way down. And a handoff. Final play of the game. And that'll do it for Spring Grove tonight. It's all Central York. They take care of business in a big way, and I think they a pretty big statement that Central York is still the top dog in the York Adams League. They win it 40-0, 33 consecutive division wins now for Central York, and they win it 40-0 on Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. Central York's defense, the story, 116 defensive return yards, 2 pick sixes and a fumble return for scores, 3 defensive touchdowns in all. Brooklyn Nace, 12 of 16 passing. He's pretty efficient, 139 yards passing, 1 TD pass and 1 rushing touchdown. Chris, your thoughts on Central York? Pretty solid team.
Yeah, very dominating performance in all 3 phases. I mean, they've got some weapons. Their kicker, their punter, their quarterback, their tight end. I mean, their defensive, front in the box can really swarm after the quarterback. I mean, they're a pretty well balanced and solid team.
They moved to 3-1 on the season. They have Southwestern and Dallastown the next 2 weeks. Spring Grove falls to 2-2 on the year. Will take on Conestoga Valley and Northeastern the next 2 weeks for them. So, of course, we'll have the trophy presentation coming up as Coach is very happy talking to his team. Coach Janczek with yet another win. Again, only 6 losses for him in his 5th season. Only 6 losses. Now 44 wins for Coach Janczek. And there it is. The trophy presentation goes to the Central York Panthers. Good to see them grab our Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals trophies. Coming up next week, we'll be back in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Division. Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin. Next week from Landis Field, the Eagles are flying at 2-1. The Rams are at 1-2. See how Cumberland Valley did tonight against State College and how the Rams did against Altoona. We'll see those 2 teams next week, Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin. CBS 21 would like to take a moment to thank the Wellspan Urgent Orthopedics, who made these games possible for the viewers at home. We'd like to thank them for supporting these fine athletes and all these sponsors on your screen. They are all responsible for getting these athletes highlighted tonight on Friday Night Rivals. We thank each and every one of them. We'd also like to thank both the Central York and Spring Grove teams, athletic directors, coaches, administration, and athletes for hosting us here tonight. To watch this game, again, anytime, anywhere, along with our Friday Night Rivals schedule and more content, check out CBS21.com, and you can watch us on YouTube at CBS 21's YouTube channel. Friday Night Rivals is a production of the Sports Fever Television Network. For our spotter, Kevin Huddy, thanks to Matt Bukovich on stats and my partner, Chris Thompson. Good to be with him tonight and the entire Friday Night Rivals production crew. I'm Phil Shader saying good night, and we'll see you next week for another edition of Friday Night Rivals. The final tonight, Central York 40, Spring Grove 0.